Bruchim Habayim, welcome. We'll begin with some Divrei Shavach Vayda and some thank yous. Afterwards, we'll hear Divrei Psicha from the Yeshiva. Then we'll show the feature presentation. And afterwards, we'll have some closing remarks. Baruch Shechiyanu, V'kiyamanu, V'giyanu Lasman Hazeh. Moidem anachnu lefanecha, Hashem Elokeinu v'Elokei Avoseinu. Akol hachesed that you have done with us to bring us to this incredible moment. We are overwhelmed with gratitude. There are no words that can quantify our feelings. The Medrash on the pasuk, V'yikchu li truma me'es kol ish asher yidvenu liboy. Tikhu es Chumasi, the Medrash says, Moshe Rabbeinu was matmiya. He said, Rabbeinu Shloim, Hine Hashemayim u'shmei Hashemayim lo yichal kalucha. Behold the heavens and the celestial heavens and all that's above, it cannot contain you. And the Rabbeinu Shloim, you're telling us that we should go ahead and build a Mishkan, v'shachanti b'soicham. Ezi Habayis asher tivna li, what kind of a house? But it was only that the Rebbeinu Shalom said, "V'asu li mikdash v'shachanti b'soichem." You'll build the Mishkan and I'll bring my Shekhinah. Rebbeinu Shalom, the mission is awesome. It's far beyond our abilities. We have put in our koiches into doing the best that we can. But we are human and we have our shortcomings and our limitations. So we ask of you, Su'u Sharim R'Sheichem, V'nosu Piskei Olam, V'yovei Melech HaKavod. And Rebbeinu Shalom, may we be zoichet to see B'rei Olam B'kinyon, Hashlim Zeh HaBinyon, as another step up from this long galus towards Bias Mashiach Tzidkeinu and the building of the third Beis HaMikdash, V'mheir V'yomeinu, when all of Klal Yisrael together we will sing, Mizmor Shir Chanukas Habayis. Rishus Avimori, Avichami, Rosh Yeshiva, Rosh Koilel, Rabbanim, Maronim, Rabbanim, Rabboisai, V'kol HaKol HaKodesh Hazeh. Bruchim Habayim, and welcome to building the Simchas Chanukas Habayis celebration and the inauguration of our new Mikdash Ma'at, the Smokum Kodesh, the building of the Shaarei Adirim. The Shaarei Adirim represents building successful Talmidim, building a Mokum for Ashros Hashchina, and building for the future of Klal Yisrael. Along this incredible journey of building, we have been zeichet to meet and to be joined by incredible people. I would like to thank first, the Hanhala, Rebbeim, the staff, Mesivta Shaarei Adirim for their dedication and their belief in the success of every Talmud, which is evident in the amazing growth and hatzlacha of our Talmidim. We'd like to thank Rabbi Brog for maintaining the day-to-day running of the yeshiva, and especially for accomplishing the impossible task of getting the building ready and getting the building ready to go and up and running in less than 2 months, along with the execution of an incredibly smooth move-in. Our incredible community, for your continued support in enabling Shaarei Adirim to reach this milestone. Notably, I would like to thank Mr. Rothner, Mrs. Walder, Mr. Yossi Meistel, Mr. Gershon Bassman, Mr. Yair Zickerman, who all stepped up at critical moments over the past years to enable us to continue to build at various difficult times. I would like to thank Mr. and Mrs. Dovi Carfunkel for having the vision and for enabling us to grow our capabilities tenfold. The Walder Foundation, the Klepak Foundation. I'd like to thank my brother Pacey and his team from PKC for the incredible job you did tonight. To Mrs. Applebaum and Mrs. Estracher of any events for coordinating all aspects of the decor, and to Yaakov Smith and Yechiel Zotnik from TMI Marketing for a spectacular job coordinating our building campaign. We'd like to thank our incredible board of directors, our presidium, Mr. Moti Tessler and Mr. Jeff Cohn, Mr. Alan Ernie, Mr. David Malzmacher, Mr. David Ray, Mr. Meir Katzenstein, Mr. Nussenfactor, Mr. Pacey Elbaum, Mr. Yochanan Polter, Mr. Yoel Mermelstein, Mr. Yosef Olstein, and Mr. Yudi Hollander. We'd like to thank Mr. Moti Tessler for leading the way through negotiations, contract, and ultimately closing on our building. We'd like to thank Mr. and Mrs. Jeff Cohn for having made the acquisition of this building possible. We'd like to thank the Rosh Yeshiva, Rabbi Osban, and his Rebbetzin for an incredible 7 years together on this journey of building Mesivta Shaarei Adirim. And I would like to thank my Choshev Rebbetzin, whose Chochmas Isha Banza Beisa is the building block behind Shaarei Adirim. At this time, I would like to ask Yedid Nafshi, V'oyavi, my shutef in building Mesivta Shaarei Adirim, the Rosh Yeshiva Rabbi Osban, to share Divrei Psicha.
Rosh Yeshivas, Rosh Kollel, Chashuvei Rabbanim, esteemed parents and supporters. Baruch Shecheyanu v'kiyimanu v'giyanu azman hazeh. Welcome to the Chanukas Habayis of Mesivta Shaarei Adirim. I would like to begin by giving Shevach V'adah Kadosh Baruch Hu for this incredible opportunity to join with my Yedid Nefesh, Harav Motche Elbaum Shlita, with opening Mesivta Shaarei Adirim 7 years ago and bringing us to this evening tonight. It's an enormous schus, and I don't take it for granted. I would also want to be marker toiv to my shutef, Harav Motche Elbaum Shlita, for your tireless effort, selfless dedication in doing whatever it takes in the building of the yeshiva. You are a real inspiration and a true shliach tzibur of Klal Yisrael. HaKadosh Baruch Hu should continue to shower you and your Rebbetzin with bracha v'atzlacha, and you should only see nachas from your children and from the yeshiva. In the bracha of Borei Nefashos, we say, Borei Nefashos Rabbis v'chesroinon. HaKadosh Baruch Hu created many living beings with all their needs. My father, Zogel Zunzain, often says over, HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world with many different species. Some live in solitary, and some can't live in solitary. HaKadosh Baruch Hu created humans in a way that we cannot live without others. The butcher needs the wood chopper, the tailor needs the farmer, the carpenter needs the doctor. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted us to live ba'achdus, where each and every one of us are dependent on one another. And that's the pshat in Borei Nefashos Rabbis v'chesroinon. We all have needs that need to be fulfilled by others. But it's not just that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world where different people have different things to do. We all know that each and every one of us in Klal Yisrael have our own individual mission and a tafkid in this world. We have a specific reason why we're here. Some of us will be Magidei Shurim, some of us will be Rosh Kollel, some of us will run chesed organizations or a school board, some of us will be Atzala volunteers, some of us will be just Erliche Yidden raising beautiful Yiddish mishpachas. All of us will Amir Hashem fulfill what Hashem sent us to do. We also know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu equipped each and every one of us with the unique skills and capabilities it takes to fulfill our tafkid. Nobody was shortchanged. And all that Hashem gave us, which some perceive as a challenge, are precisely what we need to accomplish our mission. While for most of us, the time in our lives when we will begin to fulfill our mission will be in our 20s and our 30s and for the rest of our lives. However, there's a time period in which all of us, regardless of what we are meant to accomplish in this world, with all our individual personalities and our koiches hanefesh, are required to pass through a hallway, a narrow hallway. The hallway is called the school years, where everybody has to live up to the same standard and expectations and just be like everybody else. But we aren't like everybody else. So how can we just be like everybody else? It's so challenging to so many of us. And it is with this understanding that Shaarei was built. The pasuk in the beginning of Sefer Devarim says, "Vahi barbaim shana v'ashtei asrei chodesh be'echad lachodesh dibra Moshe b'nei Yisrael." It was the 40th year, the 12th month, the first day when Moshe spoke to Bnei Yisrael. And Rashi explains that the Torah Akdosha tells us the exact date which Moshe Rabbeinu spoke to Bnei Yisrael, to teach us that Moshe Rabbeinu waited to give Musar to Klal Yisrael until Samuch L'Misasai, until he was near death. And Rashi explains that Moshe Rabbeinu learned this approach from Yaakov Avinu, and that Yaakov Avinu also waited to Samuch L'Misa. And Rashi says that Yaakov told Ruvain, "Ruvain b'ni, Ruvain my son, and I'll tell you why I have waited all these years and didn't give you Musar until the end of my life. In order that you shouldn't leave me and join my brother Esav." Let's try to understand this. Who are we talking about? We're referring to the Shiftei Ka, the children and grandchildren of Avosseinu Akdoshim, from the greatest people who have walked the face of this earth. Yet Yaakov was afraid if I would give them Musar, they would leave the path of Torah and go knock on Uncle Esav's door. And even more, what did Yaakov gain by this strategy, which Moshe Rabbeinu seek to follow? Wouldn't they now go to Esav? Was Yaakov Avinu just procrastinating and say, if not now, when? How do we understand this? I'd like to share a fascinating explanation from Yudel Kaminker, the father-in-law of the Sfas Emes. Chas v'shalom, it's impossible to suggest that the Yaakov Avinu was afraid that the Shvatim would leave the fold of Yiddishkeit. But Yaakov understood that Esav had one midah which he excelled in. He knew how to position himself in his father's eyes like a great person. He would ask him shilas how to give meiser on salt and straw, so his father should think that he's very particular in mitzvahs, and he's a huge Talmud Chacham. The one mitzvah which Esav excelled was to keep it of aim. Yaakov was teaching his children, don't only accept a message that I'm about to give you only to placate me. It's not about an expectation I have or want from you. When I give you Musar, I'm giving it for you. And Yaakov was saying, don't just accept what I'm about to tell you to satisfy me like my brother Esav. And therefore I waited to deliver my message until Samuch L'Misasei, right before my passing. Because now I'm no longer in the picture. It's not about me. It's totally 100% solely for your personal growth. Here in Shaarei Adirim, the success of every Talmud isn't measured and based on our expectations or anyone else's expectations of him. Rather, we gauge our success on what each and every Bacher can do. Dear Bacherim, it's all about you. Habayis, let me tell you some of the amazing things that our Bacherim have accomplished. And each and every one of them deserves an applause on its own. Please give a round of applause for all the Bacherim who finished entire Sefer Tehillim over Rosh Hashanah for their first time. And for many Bachurim who never missed a minyan over entire Ben Azmanim. And for over a dozen Bachurim who made his first siyum, their first siyum on a Masechta of Gemara in their lives, on Yeshiva's annual Shavuos Nilos HaChag. And for the Bachurim who don't leave the Beis Medrash during davening. Entire Bachurim, these are successes because for you it was a success. It's all about you and your personal atzlacha. And that's the goal of Shaarei Adirim. I'd like to conclude with a vart from the Panovich Rav. Every month in Shabbos Mevarchim, we say special tefillah. And we ask Hashem, Yiratzon Mulfanecha Hashem Elekeinu V'Elkei Avosenu, Shedachadish Aleinu, Es HaChodesh Hazeh L'Toiva V'Livracha, V'sitem Lanu Chayim Aruchim, Chayim Shel Shalom, Chayim Shel Toiva. Hashem should grant us this month. The month should be a month of bracha and toiva, long life, peace, and all types of bakashas that we asked. And Panovich Rav asks the Shaila, since we say this tefillah every month, we are davening for this specific month as a chodesh hazeh. So the request of Chayim Aruchim is interesting. Shouldn't we daven for Chayim for this month until we say that the Birkas HaChodesh next month? Why do we ask for every month for Chayim Aruchim? And the answer is there are certain times and moments and actions where a person in a specific month can be Zoichet to Chayim Aruchim, to long life. For example, if one becomes a Chassan or a Kala, which will affect future Dairas, he's being Zoichet to Chayim Aruchim. If one was Zoichet to give birth to a child, which affects future Dairas, that is Chayim Aruchim in this moment. Habayis, everyone sitting in this room who are claimed to be mechazik and supporting the next stage of Masifta Shaarei Adirim, which will affect future Dairas of Klal Yisrael, are being Zoichet to Chayim Aruchim to long life. May we be Zoichet to Chayim Shel Toiva, Bracha, Parnasa, and Sinachas, and only Sinachas from all our children. I mentioned earlier that everyone has to pass through the narrow hallway called the school years. I would like now to introduce you to the hallways of Shaarei Adirim. We're now presenting the world premiere of Building, Unleashing Endless Potential. Why did we make this documentary? Because we believe and we know that Shaarei Adirim is like no other yeshiva you've ever seen before in your life. You may not be able to experience your yeshiva in action during a regular day. We'd like to give you a glimpse, a small taste of what gives our Bachurim the fortitude to go beyond their expectations and grow in ways that are unimaginable. Please turn your attention to the screen.
Welcome to the world premiere of Building, Unleashing Endless Potential. It's a documentary of challenges, but even more so, it's a story of toil, perseverance, and ultimately, triumph. Be prepared to be moved by the struggles and to be inspired by the successes. Take your seats. The journey begins now. The statistics are real, and they are frightening. Close to 25% of all boys are struggling in the mainstream school systems. 1 out of every 4 students is not being successful. Not in the classroom, not with their friends, not in their day-to-day lives.
I was diagnosed with dyslexia when I was in 1st grade. School was horrible for me. It was a nightmare upon nightmares. Davening was one of the hardest things for me. I couldn't even learn Mishnais. You felt like, I can't read, I can't learn, I'm not good at sports. What is my role?
Learning didn't come easy to me, especially in 7th and 8th grade, starting to learn Gemara.
My father was nifta when I was 9. I did what I had to do, but I didn't feel like a connection with Baruch Hu.
I had a very hard time learning. I could have learned, I keep reviewing. I just wasn't able to remember it. I could be questioned about it afterwards. I wouldn't remember a thing. I had no cheshek to learn.
I was hopping around from Mesivta to Mesivta. I didn't feel like I was growing and maxing out to my potential.
I was this hyper kid flying around, couldn't go to shir, didn't get along with others, couldn't really listen to authority.
When a student is unsuccessful in academics and Gemara and Chumash and Mishnayos, if he's not doing well academically and socially, it becomes a problem because he's no longer in shir as much. He's no longer connecting with other Bachrim. He's no longer necessarily having that close-knit relationship with his Rebbe. How does a person function like that? How does a person move through his day with any hope when he has year after year after year of failure?
Some of these kids are very bright, very smart, and very with it. They see things differently than you see them. They see things a little differently.
Our system is built around academic success, and the child who's not academically successful, either because they have a unique learning style or because they have a unique thought processing style, they struggle profoundly in innumerable types of ways.
When he realizes that he's not being matzliach, and when he's struggling, till he starts to look elsewhere, there's a very small window of opportunity.
Two veteran mechanchim decided that they could no longer accept the status quo. They envisioned a mesivta in which every single bacher could thrive.
There was an all too common problem that I faced, was that when it would come time to go to mesivta, these bachrim who did have struggles and did have challenges would have a hard time getting into mesivtas. We're talking about bachrim that b'nei Torah, bachrim that b'nei Aliyah, bachrim that wanted to be in yeshiva. The agmas nefesh that I felt when I saw their struggles to get into yeshiva and how difficult it was, drove me to a point that I felt I have to do something about this.
One evening, Moshe Elbon called me up and he said, I have something very interesting to ask you. I do not expect you to respond, but just don't hang up on me. We spoke about the concept of helping Bachrim who for whatever challenges they have, they're not getting what's offered to them in the yeshiva system that we have today.
Not a problem with the yeshiva system, chas v'shalom. It's a problem, it's a challenge that we have Bachrim b'nei Torah that their needs are beyond what the yeshiva system can offer. There's a significant percentage of Bachrim in the 9th grade class, every single year, every single yeshiva across the spectrum, who look like Bachrim, talk like Bachrim, their brothers, their parents could have been alumni, they're fantastic Bachrim, they're in the yeshiva, they're in the shir. But they have a struggle. But 9th grade, they sort of survive, they somehow tread through shir. When it comes to 10th grade and chavrusas start developing, they have a very hard time getting chavrusas. Nobody wants to learn with them because they don't know what's going on. And then in 11th grade, they're chewed up and spit out of the system.
This is the story of that yeshiva, Mesivta Shaarei Adirim, a mesivta that would open up new possibilities within the yeshiva system forever.
A place like Shaarei Adirim is essential to Klal Yisrael. They give boys a chance to be successful using their own unique set of skills that their Rebbeinu Shalom gave them.
Shaarei Adirim offers a regular yeshiva curriculum, regular sedarim, but at the same time, Shaarei Adirim takes the initiative to focus on what this bacher's niche is, what is their unique talent that the yeshiva can capitalize on, and give the bacher a sense of importance, give a bocher a sense of success.
We're not taking the Talmud and putting him into a system. We're taking a system and making it work for a Talmud.
Being able to look at a bacher not as one-dimensional, two-dimensional, looking at him as the person that he is, a sophisticated human being with all the needs, strengths, and weaknesses, and be able to provide simultaneously every single need that they have.
Shaarei Adirim takes a data-driven, multi-dimensional approach to all areas of learning.
Whether it's music, learning an instrument, acrobatics, learning to do a back handspring, photography, resistance training, Krav Maga, Safras. When the bacher is learning things that none of his friends are doing, when he's accomplishing real successes, real achievements, then he begins to believe in himself and he sees that he has tremendous koiches and he's developing them.
Once a bacher sees that he can be matzliach in one area, he then has a push to try to be matzliach in other areas. Shaarei Adirim gives the bacher the I can mentality. There's no such thing as I can't in Shaarei Adirim.
Looking back on my 4 years in Shaarei Adirim, I gained a tremendous amount. One of those things being, a tremendous kesher with my Rebbeim there. Rosh Shiva, Rosh Masifta, bunch of friends.
I learned art skills, I learned how to play guitar. There was a personal trainer who I would work out with, and that helped give me an outlet as opposed to just being bored during, long Bein Darms.
Now, for what you'd see me davening for the Amid, you wouldn't know that I had dyslexia. You wouldn't know that I had a hard time davening. Davening is like my thing now. The Rosh Hashiva called me in once and we were discussing how I'm doing so good in class and I might be even higher than most of the class. And I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense for me. I'm always lower. I'm always used to being lower. It never came to my mind that I was on the higher level. It's crazy, and how much this place gave to me. It's crazy.
He found Safras, and when he went to the event in September of last year, he wrote like 20 lines of the Sefer Torah by himself, and all these big wealthy people were coming up to him, and he's like, I'll be your shliach. And he wrote letters in the Sefer Torah for him, and at the end of the night he said to me, Abba, this was the best night of my life. And I said, oh wow, I guess, yeah, because the first time in your life you're in a room with 100 people and you could do something that they can't do. You were successful at something that they weren't able to do. You felt like you found something that you were able to be good at and you were proud of yourself.
If someone would have told me that I have learned Ritufis in 3 hours, I would have told them that's impossible. But I came to Shaarei Adirim, they taught me there's no such thing as I can't, and now I've gotten over 3 hours of Ritufis straight.
They built me in many ways with their electives, their extracurriculars, their English, davening.
They helped me grow and succeed in learning, being comfortable in saying the Gemara and Shir, and helped me make friends.
My original outlook was, if something gets too difficult, move on and come back to it later if you have time. After 2 years of Shaarei Adirim, my outlook was more like, if you have difficulty on something, sit in it for a little bit and it will come to you.
I came to yeshiva and I started Safras, I started resistance training, and day after day I would finish the growth initiatives. I would feel good about myself and I would tell myself, wow, I'm able to do this, I could do other stuff, I could sit down and learn, I could go to Shir, I could get along with others. I realized that these growth initiatives help me and help the others grow as a person.
Without all of what they did, I don't think I would have nearly the amount of confidence and the amount of drive to steig and grow in every single aspect of everything in life. They really showed me what I can accomplish and that I want to do anything I really can.
The impact of Shaarei Adirim is being felt throughout the country.
Shaarei Adirim is serving not only for Chicago students, but children across the United States. They're doing a fantastic job.
Through the 7 years that Shaarei Adirim has been around, we have been able to take boys who have otherwise not been able to really fit into the yeshiva system and bring them through these 4 years and bring them to places where they never would have had to imagine having to before.
They provide the kids with different opportunities that allow them to realize that they're good at something. That they'll find, wow, I never thought I could write 10 columns in a Sefer Torah. I never thought that I'd be able to build my own desk. I never thought that I'd be able to learn a Mishnah. I never thought that I'd be able to daven for the Amud. And they give them these opportunities and they say, wow, if I could do this, then I could sit and learn a block Gemara, I could learn the Tosfos, I could do anything.
Having these amazing successes every day of Bachrim who finally can stand on their own 2 feet and say that they're capable, say that they want to grow, they want to achieve, they want to continue on, they have hope again. It's amazing.
The results are clear. You see where these Bachrim end up going to after they finish Shaarei Adirim's years. It really sets them up for life in many, many ways.
Every single year, every single Zman, a Bacher could look back and document the growth that he has made. Ashreinu Atayu Chalkeinu, that we're able to be a chelik of these Bacherim's success. We are so proud of them.
Instead of crushing their talent, you build a talent. We're building the next generation of successful people, successful B'nai Torah.
It's overwhelming to realize the schus of being able to start the yeshiva, the schus of Mesivta Shaarei Adirim.
So how exactly does Shaarei Adirim do it? How do they build successful B'nai Torah? Let's take a peek into the heart of the action to watch and learn in real time.
Today we're going to take you on a tour as we go through the yeshiva and we show you what is behind Shaarei Adirim's tremendous siyata d'shmaya and hatzlacha that we've seen.
We'll show you around the shurim, the other growth opportunities. We'll show a bunch of activities that we do. We'll try to give over a overall picture of the yeshiva. The focus is 100% of hatzlacha in each individual.
Every aspect of our day is thought through and structured so the Bacher should have hatzlacha. Beginning with every day schedule laid out, step by step, from when Shachris ends, to when breakfast ends, to when Shir starts. Structure is an integral part of their hatzlacha. It gives them grounding and footing as to where they are and when they're there.
A Bacher that feels good, his core strengths are worked up, he feels like a mensch, he walks like a mensch, he learns like a mensch, his whole mensch becomes a mensch.
Hatzlacha in Shir and success in the academic classroom is achieved with a team of professionally trained rebbeim and staff who, through a partnership with Torah Umasora, are constantly furthering their expertise with weekly professional education classes. Shaarei Adirim staff are able to integrate both individualization of classroom instruction and strategically designed schedule structure to further the success of every single Talmud.
I see the kids coming from the first year all the way at the end, and I see how they get empowered, they get stronger, they get more confident every day.
It helps build confidence with walking around in the street by yourself. It helps with overall thinking clearly.
The overall Bacher benefits in so many areas from Krav Maga in helping his physical, which is Ma'ir, his Ruach, it lifts him up. He feels good about himself, and then he's able to overcome other challenges as well. We are now in the art room where our Bachrim are able to develop their self-expression, where they're able to develop discipline, and they're able to develop a work ethic of putting in long hours.
Music room was a very large element of Shaarei Adirim. It's mastering on a professional level how to read notes, how to write notes. We have vocal lessons, we have voice lessons. There's so many different things that come through with the music room.
feels like I have something to give to other people can enjoy. It builds my confidence. I feel good about myself now.
You feel glad that you're a part of something.
It gives confidence. It gives connection. It gives a sense of teamwork.
When a bacher learns to play an instrument on his own, and he has that self-accomplishment, but then he's able to turn that self-accomplishment into a group accomplishment that he's able to synchronize and to play with others, it just brings out so many aspects of self-growth.
Welcome to the Safras room in Shaarei Adirim. The room really doesn't need much of an introduction. It speaks for itself. The incredible power, the incredible ruchniistic aliyah that a bacher feels when he takes part in the Safras program. And he gradually goes from step to learning halachas, to cut his own feather, to move up to Megillah, to move up to Navi, to eventually take part in our own real Sefer Torah. It is an immensely and powerful initiative and a growth opportunity for our bacher.
It builds him up. He realizes he's part of the Messiah of Klal Yisrael, that he's continuing the chain of Torah Shebiksav. And once a bacher realizes he's a chain of Torah Shebiksav, when he comes to the Gemara, he also realizes he's a living example of Torah's chain of Torah Shebal Peh. And he treats his whole learning experience much differently.
It's something that inspires people from outside of yeshiva and people who are in yeshiva to try and work hard and be successful in what they want to do.
So as you joined us through the journey of Shaarei Adirim, and you see all the opportunities that bacherim have to enable them to further grow and excel academically in Gemara, in Mishnayos, in Tefillah, in every venue in life, all these opportunities give the bacher the emotional grounding, the foundations that he's a guy that can do it, a bacher that can do it, a bacher that's successful, and the success that he feels in any of these opportunities that we have witnessed, carry them through and keep on growing, and they snowball and snowball. And we look back at our alumni, our graduates, they're proud, standing, successful B'nai Torah. And it's such a nachas to turn around and see Kenai Nahara Bacherim coming out, graduating, continuing on life, and being able to build on all these opportunities that we're able to give the Bacherim here in Shaarei Adirim.
What you have seen here is what the Ner Yisod Rosh Yeshiva Rav Aaron Feldman Shlita told our Bacherim, that you're a symbol to the entire world of what a Bacher can do if he says, I want to do it, I can do it, and the Rebbeinu Shalom will help me to do it. And Baruch Hashem, we are being zeichet to see that they are doing it.
Anyone that takes part in helping this yeshiva, in building the next generation of B'nai Torah, is building Doirei Doiris.
These people should be supported so greatly. What they're doing is fantastic. Really doing the job that we all have to do that job.
In the schos of supporting this Makom Torah, from Sifta Shaarei Adirim, we should be zeichet to only see kinderlach, generations, happy, healthy, successful, contributing members of Klal Yisrael in any way they can.
Wow. Nachi, Moshe, Yamin, Shua, our graduates, and all the rest of our Talmidim. Like the Yeshiva said, you are a symbol to the entire world through perseverance, determination, and confidence. You have unleashed your potential, and it is endless. Without question, I speak for everyone present tonight when I say you are truly an inspiration. May the Rebbeinu Shalom bench you to continue Michael El Chayil and to go far, far beyond what you ever thought possible. 8 years ago to the day, and almost to the hour, on Sunday evening, Parashas Vayera, I sat with my Rebbe, the Springfield Rosh Yeshiva, Rebbe Meir Sorotzkin Zatzal, and I discussed with him whether or not to embark on the opening of Shaarei Adirim. The Yeshiva was mechazik me, and he fortified me with the following vart, which is so appropriate for tonight. The Rebbeinu Shalom told Yirmiyahu Hanavi, "B'terem etzorcha beveten yidaticho, u'b'terem teitzim mirechem miktashticho, navi lagoyim nesaticho." Before I formed you, and before you came forth from the womb, I set you aside to be a navi and to foretell the coming Chorban. And Yirmiyahu Hanavi responded to the Rebbeinu Shalom, "V'oimer aho Hashem Elokim, hinei lo yadati daber, ki nara noichi." Yirmiyahu responded and he said, "Rebbeinu Shalom, I don't know what to say. I'm a nar, I'm a youth." Vayomer Hashem Elai, zok the Navi, and Hashem responded, "Al toimer nara noichi." Don't say you're a youth. Ki al kol asher shalachcha telech, on all that I send you, you will go. Veis kol asher atzavicha tedaber, and all that I command you, you will speak. When Yirmiyahu Hanavi received the nevuah to warn Klal Yisrael of the impending Chorban, he was only 18 years old. And Yirmiyahu Hanavi said, "Hinei lo yadati daber." I don't know what to say. Ki nara noichi. I'm a youth. And Hashem responds, "Al toimer nara noichi." Doesn't respond to the first line, "Hinei lo yadati daber." He goes directly, "Al toimer nara noichi." The Mir Mashkiach, Rav Yerucham Levovitz Zatzal asks, what happened to the lo yadati daber? The response from the Rebbeinu Shalom should have been according to the question, "Yodei ateda," and then "Al toimer nara noichi." It should not have been "Al toimer nara noichi," and then at the end the Rebbeinu Shalom says, "Al tira mipneihem," don't be scared of them. Rabbi Yerucham says we see from here that Hashem was teaching him that I don't know, and the I can't mentality comes from being scared. So Hashem said, don't be scared. Al toimer nara noichi and al tira mipneihem. Zok Rabbi Yerucham, from here we learn a gewaldige lesson for people who say I can't, or they say I'm not the right person, or they say I'm not up to the job. The first yesod is that one has to strengthen oneself not to be intimidated from the challenges and from the people who will get in the way. And then he will realize, yes, I can. I can do anything. And there's no such thing as I can't. This is the message of this evening. This is the message of this building that we are celebrating tonight. This is the message of Shaarei Adirim. And to paraphrase the Baltimore Rosh Yeshiva, you are a symbol to the entire world of what a person can do when he says, I want to do it, I can do it, and the Rebbeinu Shalom will help me to do it. This is what you saw and experienced here tonight. Our Talmidim have realized this message, and they are building. Yet while we celebrate our Simcha tonight, it's not complete. It can't be. There are so many more Talmidim that need Shaarei Adirim. How can it be that over 30 Bachrim were waiting to attend our yeshiva this year alone? We don't have the resources, but how can we turn them away? We, Baruch Hashem, now have a building to build. With some renovations and additional resources, we can quickly double in size to 80 Bachrim. And with just a little more than that, we can triple in size to 120 Bachrim. A Beis Medrash, a kollel that not only supports the Beis Medrash, but also will train the young alike to be super qualified rebbeim. We can be providing both strategic and logistic support for other moistus locally and around the country.
The potential of the building that we can do in this building is endless. But more importantly, the potential of the Bachrim that we can unleash is endless. We are ready. Now more than ever, we need your support. Baruch Hashem, the chizuk you have shown us here tonight is enormous. We are overwhelmed with appreciation for your support. And now, as we officially kick off our building campaign, we daven that we may be zoichet together to build, to build the Talmidim of Shaarei Adirim, to build Talmidim wherever there is a need, and to build Riboy Kvoit Shemayim. And together may we all be zoiche to avoid Tzion Goyel, to v'sechazenu eineinu b'shuvcha l'tzion b'rachamim, and to be as Mashiach tzidkeinu b'mheira v'yameinu amen. If there's one message that you can take away from this evening, remember, I can do anything. There's no such thing as I can't. Thank you for coming.